Runners as they are coming through here, the elite runners. Let's go ahead and stand things back to Steve Uehara, who's back at Kapiolani Park. Steve.
Tony, any observations?
Well, the fact that the debutante, Cynthia Limo, she's actually leading the women.
Which is what you had said earlier. That was expected.
What you want to do is you want to run what you call your pace. I mean, it's like when you play golf, you get a shot sometimes, it's not quite a 8-iron, but it's less than a 7-iron. You're between clubs, they call it. Well, when you're running, you want to run your pace, the most efficient running pace for you. And sometimes the race is it's not quite, you'd rather run it either a little faster or a little slower, but this is what the pace is. Cynthia Limo is running a pace which is comfortable to her. So she's trying to make the other athletes run her pace, even though it's her first marathon.
Again, throwing blows.
She's trying to run as efficiently as possible so that she will have running left in her legs for the final strike in the last few miles.
So before we even came on air at 6 o'clock, the runners went off at 5, and you were doing a little bit of math over there. How early on can you calculate where we might be as far as times are towards the end of the race?
Well, I've been tracking it. The women are about a minute off what they ran last year, and the winning time was 2 hours, 30 minutes, and 58 seconds. That's because of the weather. It's because there's not a big 6, 7, 8 women. It's not a big lead pack. There's only 3. So, I mean, this is generally speaking, marathoning is a numbers game. 1/3 have a good day, 1/3 have an average day, and 1/3 have a poor day. Well, you've only got 3 elite women. So one's going to have a good day, one's going to have an average day, one's probably not going to have a great day. So you don't know which one's going to fit into that category. The more people you have, the better chance you have of somebody spitting out a really good performance. And we've only got 3, but they're running together, they're running intelligently, and but no one's made a move. No one's, put their clutch in and change gears and try to see what happens if I really pick up the pace. None of that's happened yet.
That's going to happen
soon. The games have not started.
Either way, hey, you know what? It's a great day no matter what. We're going to keep watching this. Right now, let's head over to Kyle HNN. Kyle?
Hey, what's up? What's up, guys? That's right. We're here in Hawaii Kai, right by Honolulu Bay, and we're right at the turnaround point in Hawaii Kai where the elite runners are about 2 minutes, maybe less than that, from making this turn back out to Kapiolani Park where the finish line is. And it's been a hot race. I've been hearing the show in my ear, and there is a big group of 5 elite runners that could be making this their biggest race of their life. As you can see, you have the volunteers all ready and waiting for these elite runners to make their way here. We've seen some of the guys on the bikes coming through, and they got the music playing, the vibes are high. It's not as bright and sunny yet when all the people come here, but we're waiting anxiously for these runners to get here, and obviously the female elites are right on their tail as well. And yeah, well, hopefully we can get them making this turn, but for now we're gonna send things back to the finish line with Steve and Tony. Guys?
Yes, indeed. All right, thank you, Kyle. Aside from the 2 Kenyan men, nobody else in the elite group has run the Honolulu Marathon.
That's correct. Now, we just got word from our lead vehicle that Dixon Chumba, the pace setter, wearing number 6, has now dropped out. After 25 kilometers. That's standard issue. That's 15.5 miles. So they've entered Hawaii Kai. He's not going to take the tour of Hawaii Kai. He stopped before they entered, so he'll get a ride back here to the finish line. So now it's just the contenders left. There's 4 men, 2 of them who have experience on the course. But again, this is a what have you done for me lately type of sport.
Yes.
And we are quickly learning and quickly leading toward that time of the race when we're going to see what they've done lately, because they're going to do it on these streets.
Yeah, and it looks like we found out who's having a bad day. Yeah.
Well, not a bad day, because yesterday I was talking to Dixon Chumba, and he said, I may run all the way. We'll see how I feel. He'd ran a marathon in China in October. He ran 2:11, got 4th place, and it was not a good day for everyone. They all ran 2:11. It was just a big kick, and he got 4th place in that race. But he said, I'll see how I feel. Obviously, he didn't feel totally recovered, so he's not going all the way, and he's dropped out.
Yeah, we're going to be monitoring things. Also, we're going to have a wheelchair winner sometime soon, within the next 15, 20 minutes or so.
Yeah, I'm betting I'm betting it's Masazumi Sojima. He's won 13 times before. I saw him today.
So odds are.
And Wakako Tsuchida on the women's side, she's won 11 times before, so I'm claiming those are going to probably be our champions. They're two great people, two great champions, and it looks like they may well take titles 14 and 12 here today.
That's right, and as soon as they cross the finish line, we'll be right there asking them a few questions, see how
Right.
things went with them. Yeah. All right, so for Tony and myself, we're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back. You're watching Sunrise, a special edition for the Honolulu Marathon.
Welcome back. We're keeping a close eye on the road closures for the Honolulu Marathon. But in addition to that, I want to talk about a first alert for this collision over in the Pearl City Waipahu neighborhood. This just came through, a first alert on this. HPD tells me they've got the Waipahu exit shut down from the H1 as you're heading westbound. This is for a motor vehicle collision, and they're asking drivers to use an alternate route. So if you can use Kamehameha Highway or Moanalua Road instead, we'll let you know as soon as this collision clears up, but definitely stick with those alternate routes. And as you get closer into town, you want to stick with those alternate routes because we're keeping a close eye on the road closures for the Honolulu Marathon. Again, it starts right near Ala Moana Beach Park, goes over toward Kapi'olani Park. So we'll let you know as soon as any lanes are scheduled to open, but for now, everything remains shut down. The best bet if you're trying to head in or out of town, stick with the H1 freeway. A live look here at the Middle Street Merge. We're looking pretty good as you get through Kalihi. That's the latest on your first alert traffic. Let's check in with Casey Lund. Casey, how's it looking out there?
Hey, Lace, it is beautiful morning for the Honolulu Marathon. So excited. And I just got word that we are just under 5 minutes from the first wheelchair racer to come through. You know, we're here. We're going to be covering every aspect of this. We'll be over in the Finishers Village where folks will get their medals after they finish the race. They're sure, of course, they get their certificate the next day at the convention center. All finishers get a medal, but the top finishers are going to get something pretty special this year. Our Ashley Nagaoka went to Ginza, Japan to find out.
SGC is located here in Ginza, and for the first year, the company is making the finisher medals for the Honolulu Marathon. Now check this out. The hardware for the top finishers is extra special. These are real gold medals. They weigh 202.3 grams. That's worth about $15,000.
Even the Olympic medals are not gold. This is actual real gold.
202.3 grams for the year 2023. SGC's CEO Yutaka Tsuchiya says gold is the ultimate good luck charm. It's rare, it doesn't tarnish, It's durable yet virtually indestructible, and it comes from the earth.
Gold is valued everywhere in the world. Everybody wants to invest in gold. Gold keeps shining. The value doesn't go down, so you can pass it on for future generations.
Inside the company's exclusive all-gold gallery, the precious metal takes many forms. Clocks, statues, a dole banana, even a ceremonial tea set, fully functional and dishwasher safe. As a 3-time finisher of the Honolulu Marathon, Tsuchiya-san says he's honored to be giving back to an event that changed his life.
I ran the Honolulu Marathon for the first time at 60 years old, then again at 62 and 64. It was an amazing experience. Anyone in the world can participate.
SGC created the medals for both the winners and the 30,000 hopeful finishers, a process that took about 6 months. The front design shows a runner with the trade winds blowing, the perimeter decorated with a kappa pattern. On the back, the view of Diamond Head seen from Waikiki Beach with the SGC logo and a honu, a creature loved in both Japan and Hawaii, a symbol of longevity. 3, 2, 1. For those who cross the finish line after 26.2 miles, Tsuchiya-san says he hopes his medals will remind them of their momentous achievement for years to come.
I remember my first marathon and what amazing experience it was. Being healthy, feeling the wind, everybody's going to take the medals home and cherish the memory like I do.
Reporting from Ginza, Ashley Nagaoka, Hawaii News Now.
Okay.
Oh, and I was so fortunate to be able to tag along, actually, with Ashley over there in Ginza, where we went to SGC, the folks that make those medals. The CEO, by the way, is running again this year. He was out at the start line. So, Steve, enough about the medals for now,
yes,
because we're going to be covering that extensively. Exciting stuff. I'm going to step out of the way, actually, and I know we're kind of in a split screen here, so you can help me talk about this as we wait for the first wheelchair athlete to come through. We are 1 hour, 32 minutes, and 10 seconds into the Honolulu Marathon. So these folks, of course, start before the runners, the road runners. They get a little bit of a head start, and then, we'll start to see them come down. So, Steve, I'll send things back to you as we watch those police lights come down by the park here.
Yeah, Casey, and as soon as the wheelchair runners or racers come through, we'll have them on set as well. But we have some breaking news as far as the runners themselves are concerned, right, Tony?
Right. I mean, Dixon Chumba, we said the pace setter dropped out before Hawaii Kai, the turnaround. But now we have 2 runners, number 4 and number 5. Paul Lonyangata from Kenya was second in this race in 2014, and Ababinyat Degu from Ethiopia. They've broken free. They're back out on the highway heading toward home. So now the final stretch has begun. And we've got 2 runners, the classic rivalry, the Kenyans and Ethiopians, the 2 great running nations in the world, each have 1 representative left at the 2023 Honolulu Marathon.
Yeah, and maybe enough cannot be said about that rivalry, the Ethiopians and the Kenyans, and it's gone back quite a deal. But maybe give us the Cliff Notes version. How deep does that run?
Well, it's Yankees, Red Sox, it's Cardinals, Cubs, it's whatever rivalry. Who the UH is,
right.
BYU or
Fresno State or BYU,
Fresno State, right?
So
I mean, it's the greatest rivalry.
Okay.
80% of the great runners in the world come from those 2 nations, the distance runners at least.
Okay, Tony, we should turn our attention.
And I believe we are, I just want to make sure we've got our shot up here. You see this first wheelchair athlete here. I'm going to walk over and speak with Jim. Jim, I mean, you can see he essentially collapsed.
Oh, was he?
Tony,
now?
Excuse me, Tony. I mean, he's just completely exhausted, right?
Well, good for him, because normally speaking, the wheelchair athletes, they can run another marathon next week. Because it's not weight bearing. They're sitting in a chair. Now it's very difficult on their shoulders and their back and their arms, but it's not the same thing as running on your legs that entire way. So they can go back and run a marathon within a week, within 2 weeks. So it's not normally as exhausting for the wheelers as it is for the runners.
So just a little over an hour, 30 minutes here. That's pretty good time, right?
That's very fast.
Yeah.
Very fast times. These are great athletes. They put in a lot of work. They've been part of this sport since the 1970s, and a great addition to the sport.
Yeah, and they're greeted here, of course, the runners. Another treat, they're greeted by Miss Hawaii's, former Miss Hawaii's that are here at the finish line, of course, and they go for their medals. Really an exciting moment as we saw our first wheelchair athlete.
Sojima, I believe it is Masazumi Sojima.
Okay. So no big surprise today.
No,
it's not what we expected. Okay.
He won the race in 2005 to 2010, 6 years in a row, and then he won 7 times in a row from 2013 to 2019. Now he's got another one in 2023.
Very good, and I think we're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back with more coverage of the 2023 Honolulu Marathon.
So in the cluster of things, it looked like there was a little bit of unexpectedness as they crossed the finish line, but it is indeed Masazumi Sojima that has
didn't
crossed.
recognize him when he had the towel over his head, but I recognize him now. And
his 14th victory?
He's one of the greats in history.
Yeah.
And the fact that he's won 14 times here is kind of a testament to that. But he's also, in the World Marathon Majors, he's right there all the time. Yeah, just one of the great champions in the sport's history.
That's right. He's chatting actually right now with our Casey Lunn. We're going to get to them in a second. You did have some news about the runners themselves, though. Do we have one person breaking away?
No, somebody said it's somebody's just broken away around 30 kilometers, 18.6 miles, and it just said one guy. And it's Paul Lonyangata from Kenya, runner-up in 2014. Has now taken the lead. Now that doesn't mean it's over, but it does mean he has now separated himself from his last competitor. Yeah. The question is now, can he hold it all the way to here in the park?
Just another blow thrown, right?
Yeah, this was the knockout blow, but your first opponent is the distance itself.
Right.
You can get rid of all your opponents, and the distance can still knock you out. So he's got to now he's got himself a lead. Now the question is just manage that lead from this point forward. You don't have to push any harder.
Right.
Just manage yourself and see if you can make that last 12 kilometers to make it home to be the champion.
All right, Tony, right now, though, we do have a champion, and he's standing by with our Casey Lunn. Casey?
Yes, Tony, Steve, thank you so much. Now, of course, we do have a little bit of an issue. We have a language barrier, but we have somebody to translate. I want to ask, how does it feel being the first to cross the finish line? I know this is the 14th win, right?
今回14回目の優勝だと思われるんですけども、ゴール通過されたご感想はいかがでしょうか。
ハイウェイがちょっと向かい風が強くて、で、折り返してからは追い風だったので、すごく楽に帰ってこれました。
On the highway, there was like a winds against it, so it was very tough. But on the return, the winds was helping him, so it was easy coming.
Very good. But no small task. Plans for the rest of the day?
今日この後はどういうご予定ですかって。
特に大きな予定はないですけど、でもまあ夕方ちょっと美味しい食事でも食べれればなと思ってます。
There's no big planning, but if I can have a wonderful dinner, that'd be great.
I think well deserved. Thank you so much for speaking with us. Congratulations. Thank you. 14 wins there, guys. How about that? First across on the 2023 Honolulu Marathon. Exciting stuff here at the finish line, and we got a lot more action coming as well. Steve, we'll send things back to you and Tony.
Yeah, Casey, send him on over, get him Malasada or a dozen or so because he deserves it. All right. Hey, Tony, one of the things that we want to talk to you, especially about the runners, is the new technology that is being used as far as the shoes are concerned, right? And so before we get into that, our guy Hagi went to check out what is new in terms of that. Guy?
Runners in the Honolulu Marathon are definitely better off than runners a few years ago, and that's because of the advances in the health field with regard to nutrition, as well as the technology of running shoes. I'm here at Runners High NIL. Let's go talk to Ray Wu. He's the owner, and he's going to show us why shoes matter. Thousands and thousands of shoes hitting the pavement for the Honolulu Marathon. Ray Wu has already run 40 of them. He's the owner of Runners High. Now, Ray, the shoe development, the shoe technology has come so far in the past few years, especially from since when you started till today, right?
Absolutely, yeah. It's been an evolution of change. Like in any kind of technology, shoes is the same.
Yeah, so what's the biggest difference from shoes when you started to today?
Well, I think basically the comfort level of all these shoes, you know, a lot of these shoes, you can put them on today and go run the marathon tomorrow where there's very little break-in time, if any at all.
Yeah, before we used to have to break them in, we used to have to train for them, and they'd eventually break into your foot and soften up. But why is that? How come all of a sudden like you can just run with them?
I think just the development of new materials, the upper material, the foam, the nylon that they use, all of that put together makes it so much lighter, softer, more stable, all of the above to develop a much better shoe.
And that makes you run faster?
Well, maybe not faster, but more comfortably and less injuries.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, actually, a few years ago, Nike made a shoe that was banned because they said it was too fast. Well, you familiar with that?
Yeah, that was a carbon-plated shoe. It's very thick, a lot of big stack height, and the guys were running really fast times, and they couldn't figure out. Well, they figured it out basically. It was just a super shoe.
Yeah.
It had, you know, the technology to allow you to run faster for a longer period of time.
Yeah. Now you have this cutout shoe here. What are you trying to? What do you want to show us with that?
Yeah. So the new technology that's really catching on right now is this carbon-plated technology, which is here. We cut this shoe apart so that you could actually see the carbon plate.
So that's really stiff.
Yeah. So inside of the shoe itself, there's a carbon plate right there, and if you try to flex it and bend it, it's really stiff. It's kind of like those paraplegic athletes that have that carbon-plated prosthetic. It's very similar to that technology, but it's inside of a shoe instead, and it's on your foot.
But something that's stiff, that still results in a comfortable shoe?
It does when you're running. It really makes a huge difference while you're running. Walking, not so much, but when you're running, it actually kind of propels you off the toe. So if you notice, there's quite a bit of a curvature on the bottom like that. And so what happens is as you strike your heel and move forward to the forefoot, it almost propels your foot forward. So it gives you that forward momentum. So the faster you run, the faster it makes you go because of this stiff carbon plate.
So how much of a difference is a good shoe going to make in terms of time for the fastest guy?
It could be a matter of seconds. It could be a matter of minutes. It just depends on your level and your ability.
Yeah, and for the normal guy, say just running middle of the pack kind of thing, is it more you should worry about comfort or more you should worry about speed?
I would say both, more comfort than anything, because I mean, 26 is a long way to go. You got to finish first before you worry about running fast, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, unless you're very competitive and you're going for the money or the gold medal.
Yeah, serious gold in this year's marathon. Ray, thanks a lot, man.
You're welcome.
Okay, we're right here at the finish line, and we're still waiting.
We're following the
male finishers in a wheelchair race, and now we're looking at the elite runners.
Paul Lonyangata, 2014, as a 21-year-old, he ran in second place in 2:16.04. He's come back to Honolulu. He's now getting all the cheers of the outbound runners on the highway. He's heading home. He looks very good. And he had a 12-second lead at 30 kilometers. And the amount of time we can see behind, we do not see a following runner.
Yeah.
So the race is his to lose right now.
You know, I like looking at this shot because Jim Barrahall had mentioned this earlier. Because of the down and back format for this race, this isn't normal with a lot of marathons where the average everyday Joe gets to run against the elite runner that's coming right at him.
You usually have a big loop,
right?
So you never see anyone. This is so good for both sides of the street.
You saw somebody snap his head just to take a look.
I mean, all the outbound runners are excited to see the leader, and the leader is excited to have all the cheering for the outbound runners. So it's a very much of a symbiotic relationship as Paul Lonyangata looks over his shoulder and sees the big gap back to number 5 in second place, Abinyad Degu from Ethiopia. Now, Degu has a better personal best at 2 hours, 4 minutes and 53 seconds from Paris in 2021 than Lonyangata does, 2:06.10 from Paris in 2017. But as I said earlier, this is a what have you done for me lately kind of sport. And Paul Lonyangata has obviously done training that's got him in really fit condition for today's race.
That's right. All right, so let's take a look at the conditions out there. Guy, I realize your mic is up, so what are you seeing out there as you take a look at the elite field?
Well, actually, you know, for the core of the field, it's a very, very beautiful day to run a marathon. The winds are actually on the light side, even out here on Kalani Anaole. They factor in for the top runners, and you know, it's looking fairly clear, so it's going to heat up pretty quickly. I'm here with the president of the Honolulu Marathon, Jim Barrahall, and things have been changing quite quickly, especially in the last couple of miles. We just passed the 20-mile mark, and he's gapped for everybody.
About a 25-second lead for Paul Lonyangata from Kenya over Degu and Ande. I don't think the race is necessarily over. He has been looking behind him a lot. Not sure if he's not feeling well or he just wants to get a sense of where he is and how much effort he has to put. But he's made a significant move here on the highway, and it could be the winning move. We'll see.
Yeah, and he's running up into a hill now, and then he's going to run into the bigger hill, the last hill, and that's the big challenge.
I think that the two behind him have to get closer by the time we get to the foot of Diamond Head. I think if they don't get very close before they get to Diamond Head, they're not going to catch him, because as they're coming up the hill, if he's coming down, they're not going to get him. The race is not over yet, but this is a very strong move. I think that the wind on the way out, which is the first time all week that we've had wind, I think the guys kind of tucked it in a little and kind of, you know, had kept their powder dry for when they got out of the wind. And then Paul Lonyangata made a very significant move.
All right, there's still a lot happening. The biggest hill to come near Triangle Park. Let's go back to the finish line. Steve, Tony?
Yeah, all right, guy, thank you. You heard Jim say it a couple of times. It's not necessarily over, but 25 seconds, that's a big lead. What could go wrong?
Well, I mean, you could misjudge your pace, run out of your energy stores, and hit the wall. I mean, the mythical wall in the marathon, which lies around 20 miles. After an hour and 150 running, you run out of your high octane fuel, your sugar stores, your glycogen, and you start burning fat, which is like low octane, and the motor doesn't run as well. Yeah. So if you misjudge things, but I don't think they've misjudged things.
Right.
And the only thing I've done is that on 29th of October, he was second place at the Changsha Marathon in China. That last week in October.
That wasn't long ago. Yeah.
He did not know he was running this marathon till the end of November.
Yeah.
He only took a 1-week recovery from that marathon in China. So it could well be that, you know, maybe we know he hasn't had a full recovery and a full training load, but maybe he didn't run as all out in China and he's got something left from that race. And this is also a product of the new shoes.
Yeah.
You can run more marathons and recover better in these new shoes than you could in the old shoes.
Yeah. Very interesting because it's not just about the physical aspect. There's a strategy that goes along with it as well, and we'll see how everything pays off.
Right.
So Tony, we're going to take a quick break. We're going to come right back. Again, you're watching a special edition of Sunrise for the Honolulu Marathon, and we're happy to be with you.
Welcome back, everybody, to Sunrise's special presentation of the 51st Honolulu Marathon. A lot has been happening. We saw the first person cross the finish line, Japan's Masazumi Sojima. He was the first place wheelchair finisher. And among the runners, a combat veteran. He was hit by a roadside bomb. Randy Woodward wasn't sure if he would ever walk again. Now, 75 marathons later, he's defied the odds. Today, he's taking his national pride with him along the course. Casey Lunn caught up with him.
And at the front of the line, somebody very special. I want to introduce Randy Woodward. He is a combat wounded veteran. A roadside bomb almost took you out. You thought you'd never run again. But this is marathon number?
This will be number 75, and it'll be state number 41.
So you're Nashville, Tennessee, correct? First of all, again, thank you for your service, Mr. Woodward. What does this marathon mean to you? Is this your first time in the Honolulu Marathon?
It is. It is. I'm excited to be here. I mean, the activity, it's hard to say it right now. It's just so much, everybody's so excited about going out and doing this morning.
It's electric. I think one of the cool things about this marathon and a lot of marathons are seeing people from all over the world. And Japanese tourists are very important to us here. You've seen a lot of those folks here. They're very friendly too, right?
Yes, they are.
And,
very much so.
Randy, you're carrying this flag the whole way?
All 26.2 miles, providing I don't have any injuries between now and then.
I want to thank you, Randy, for your service. I want to thank you for being here and joining us for the Honolulu Marathon. Best of luck to you, and I hope you get a well-deserved Malasada. Do you know what Malasadas are?
I don't, but I think I'm going to be finding out after the race very soon.
You'll enjoy them, I promise. Thank you again, Randy. Appreciate him speaking with us. Like I said, the atmosphere, like Randy said, here at the starting line is absolutely electric. What a great way to start the day. We'll send things back to you for now.
Thank you so much for your service, Randy, and enjoy those malasadas at the finish line. Just a reminder for drivers, as far as the road closures, at least one lane will be shut down until at least 5 o'clock this evening. Now, it started at Ala Moana Beach Park and finishes at Kapi'olani Park. So let's take you through the course. It starts off right near the intersection of Queen Street along Ala Moana Boulevard. Runners will then head over west. They'll loop back around onto King Street, get on over toward Kapi'olani, down Pi'ikoi, and then back onto Ala Moana Boulevard. And then from there, they're going to head out to East Oahu, taking several roadways: Diamond Head Road, 18th Avenue, Kilauea, Waialae, the H1 eastbound, and Kalani No'ole, and then wrap right back around and end at Kapi'olani Park. So again, these closures expected to last until about 5 o'clock this evening. We'll let you know when any lanes are able to reopen as those runners pass by. You're watching Sunrise on this Sunday morning for the Honolulu Marathon. We'll be right back.
Welcome back. We're monitoring things very closely as we're expecting our first female wheelchair finisher any minute now. But as far as the elite runners themselves are concerned, Paul Lonyangata still has a commanding lead.
Well, I don't know if it's a commanding lead.
Okay.
We just got word from the lead vehicle that they said the lead is 10 seconds, but then they said that Ruben Carrillo and Philman Ande are in second and third place. So I'm not sure if that 25-second lead is down to 10 seconds or if the 10-second gap is between the runners 2 and 3. I just asked that question of our lead vehicle, so we'll find out shortly.
Yeah, and it looks like we do just now have our first female finisher for the wheelchair race.
And indeed, it looks like Wakako Tuchita.
Right.
We talked earlier that Matsuzumi Sojima had won his 14th Honolulu Marathon title. Wakako is only 2 behind him. This is her 12th title. Wow. She won her first one in 2000 and her last one in 2017.
Okay. Casey is over there getting ready to chat with her, and we'll get to that to you in just a second. Right now, though, we mentioned those elite runners. Guy Hagi is right there in the midst of all of that. Guy, what do you see?
Well, we're seeing that gap actually close a little bit. The last time we checked the gap, Dr. Jim, was 12 seconds, down from 25.
Yeah, it's getting closer, no question. As we're coming up Kyle Avenue, we have about a 12-second differential. Go, come on.
And that 12-second differential, this is called Heartbreak Hill. This is the most challenging part of the marathon.
Yeah, this is where it's going to happen right now. Paul Lonyangata is pulling up right next to us. He's in the lead. He's looking good. And Philman Ande is hanging in there. He's stalking. He's only about 12 seconds behind. I thought Paul looked pretty good there, but we could have a race into the park. It's not impossible we could have a race into the park today.
Yeah, because this is the most challenging part, heading towards Triangle Park, and conditions are really good. It's the winds are very light, humidity is on the high side.
Thank you very much. Let's go ahead and tell you what's happening here on Lonyangata Highway as we are going towards town. Most of the people are headed out towards Hawaii Kai. For consistency purposes, it's been mostly three ladies at the together consistently going down the pathway as they've been running towards Hawaii Kai. But as we've turned back, it's kind of been a little bit different.
Yes, at 30K, that was where the break happened. There was an aid station, the ladies got their aid, and all of a sudden, just Limo and Sentatayu broke away from Kasu, and that was it. Right now, they're taking some water. They're about, I would say, 10 seconds away. But yeah, it's a two-woman race right now.
Okay, as we pass the 33-kilometer-mile marker, and we're getting a time here on this. And we're at 2 minutes 52 seconds, about, or 2 hours 55 seconds thereabouts as we pass that mile marker. What do you see as you are watching them running right now?
Well, right now they are side by side. Before, Limo was leading and Sentatayu was right on her heels. Right now they're side by side, looking so comfortable. Form is great, arm carriage is great. I mean, I can't really tell who's going to win this. This is exciting.
All right, let's send it back to the finish line and Steve Uehara.
Yeah, so about 8 miles left for the elite women, and a couple of things here. First of all, you said anything could change really quick, and it did. So that separation is kind of narrowed just a little bit as far as the men are concerned.
And we talk about Diamond Head being like Heartbreak Hill, but all the way up, once you turn on, once you get on the in Kahala, it's an upgrade.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a brutal upgrade. It's not a hill, but you get no momentum. You got to push the whole way. And we've seen leads leak away. And the guy with power, now the guy in second place from Eritrea is a veteran guy. He says he's in great shape. I've come here to win this race.
Yeah.
I mean, he made no bones about what his intentions were. And we said, Paul Lonyangata recovered well. You can feel good and then feel bad. In Britain, they call it good patch, bad patch. You go through a period where you feel great, and 2 seconds later, you feel horrible. And so you can't get too high when you're feeling good, you can't get too low when you're feeling bad, because you know it's going to switch over again. But as the race extends, the good patches have a tendency to overwhelm the bad patches, overwhelm the good patches. And now Paul Lonyangata has got to be willful. He's got to be very strong psychologically. I've still got this in hand.
Yeah.
I still have the lead.
And you still see him looking over his shoulder,
but,
right?
But he's worried.
Right.
And the more he sees that Ande behind him, filming Ande from Eritrea, sees that guy look over his shoulder over and over again, that gives him confidence.
There you go. All right, we're going to get a quick break right now. We're going to have more coverage from the Honolulu Marathon right after this.
back, everybody, to Sunrise's special presentation of the 51st Honolulu Marathon. We're into hour 2. Here's a live look from high above Hawaii Kai, past the halfway mark of the race. And ahead on the road, our elite runners are approaching the home stretch as they look to make history. And we are expecting those first male finishers to cross the line at Kapiolani Park in minutes. We're hearing that one of the Kenyans is leading the pack at the moment. Before heading out there, though, let's check in with Lacey Denise for a look at the roads around the course this morning. Lacey.
Yeah, thanks so much, Annalisa. And of course, best of luck to all the racers out there. Let's take a look at the course. Now, the road closure started just after midnight, and they will continue until at least 5 o'clock this evening. And what crews are going to be doing is they're going to slowly reopen the lanes as the last runners past that section. So for now, we still have everything shut down. The race started along Ala Moana Boulevard by Ala Moana Beach Park. They went up toward Nu'uanu Avenue, toward King Street, down Kapiolani Boulevard to Pi'ikoa, and then right back onto Ala Moana Boulevard. Then they made a really long trek over toward East Oahu along Kalani and Ole. And after that, they'll be wrapping back around down Kahala Avenue over toward Diamond Head Road, and then ending the race along Kalakaua. So several lane closures still in place. We'll let you know when those lanes are able to reopen. But let's check in at the finish line now. Steve, how's it looking out there?
Excellent. Thank you, Lacey. We're here with Tony Revis, longtime marathon analyst. Look, there's been a lot of back and forth, a lot of drama.
Right.
So Paul Lonyangata had a 25-second lead that got whittled down to 12. Where are we now?
Now we're going up Diamond Head, and we're told he's back up to 25 seconds. So he's, again, the good patch, bad patch. He had a bad patch along Triangle Park. Right. And now he has a good patch going uphill. And sometimes you just want to change the terrain to change how you hit your muscles. Your muscles, if you go the same terrain over and over again, you can just fatigue your muscles at that one pace. And sometimes you look for a hill just so you can change gears and you can feel better. And that seems to be the case with Paul Lonyangata.
So are certain runners built better for certain venues, or do they train differently and maybe the hills will impact somebody a different way than they would another runner? Or
well, some people are better on hills, but these world-class athletes train specifically for the course they're going to be running, and they all do hills as part of their workouts. It's just part and parcel of their weekly training regimen. So these hills, first of all, in Boston they call it Heartbreak Hill, and often you hear Kenyans in Ethiopia say, "Where was it?" Oh, that was the hill? Oh, that wasn't that bad. We've got worse hills at home. So we give these hills names, but these, I mean, they slow them down a little bit.
They've conquered worse.
They've conquered a lot worse.
Yeah, all right, Tony. We're going to come back here in just a second. Right now, though, we mentioned the elite runners. Let's go to Guy Hagi, who's right there with them.
All right, we've just passed the Diamond Head Lighthouse, and looks like the race is a done deal, Jim. The hardest part is behind him. It looks like it's a done deal.
Yeah, I think it was a tough slog through Kahala, coming off the highway, and the race was getting closer and closer. Ande was really starting to close. Paul Lonyangata was looking behind him quite a bit, but at the base of Diamond Head, he surged. He surged up Diamond Head. It's unbelievable the way he just ran Diamond Head. I think he's put this race away. Stranger things have happened, but very impressive the way he's really surged up this hill. He's coming down now. He looks good. He's getting encouragement from the throngs of marathoners on their way out. And it looks like Paul Lonyangata is going to win the 2023 Honolulu Marathon.
Very impressive performance. He looks smooth the whole way.
Yeah, he's a smooth-looking runner. He has a good background. Obviously, he's having a good day today. It was an exciting race, but it looks like Paul Lonyangata will be coming into the park very shortly and heading to the finish line as the winner of this year's Honolulu Marathon.
All right, thanks a lot, Dr. Jim. Now let's see what's going on the women's side of the race with Billy V. Billy, what's going on?
Thank you very much, Guy Hagi. We're coming down the stretch right alongside Waialae Golf Course in Kahala, and we definitely have, well, one woman who is now in front of the pack.
Yes, Limo, she pushed right at 35K. She just left Sinatayu behind. Sinatayu is probably about 6 seconds back. Now it's all Limo all the way home.
You know, you mentioned a little bit earlier, it was the two Ethiopians that were working together, teammates. but now she's the Kenyan has taken out is out in the front.
Exactly. That teamwork, it worked a little bit, but right at 35K, it looks like Limo said, okay, I'm just going to go. She tested it, and she's way out in front now.
Now, this is a young woman who has an interesting backstory into going into today's marathon.
Yes, well, this is her debut. In addition to that, her eldest daughter had died, and right after that, she really couldn't regroup right away. So she was gone from running for about 7 years. And then her coach died this year. So there's so much going on with this young lady. And, you know, it's just great to see her back out here. She got back out to running, and she looks great right now.
Overall, the conditions are looking good. We're now on the town side of Hawaii Kai and Kahala. Now we're coming into this stretch. What does the conditions look like to you? What does it feel like?
The conditions are great. It's not windy. We're sort of on the part of the course where it's a little bit downhill. Her stride, her cadence, everything looks great. It's like she was just waiting to break. She was just biding her time through the wind, and now at that moment, she just went, okay, I'm just going to go, and she looks great. And Sintatayu does not look like she's going to gain. She's just maintaining.
All right, once again, you're seeing a sole leader right now in this portion of the Honolulu Marathon as we're making our way through the Kahala area, and we're coming up towards Diamond Head, and of course the finish line not too far away. Speaking of the finish line, let's get you back over to Steve and Tony. I want to say mahalo to Toya Revis, who has been by my side here, which is Tony's wife. Guys, we'll send it to you.
Yeah, Tony knows her quite well. I just wanted to mention this real quick, and maybe we're going to have this in the shot again. This great juxtaposition of the elite runner blazing past and making their way towards us. And on the other side, you have the everyday athlete, some people that are trying this for the very first time, but obviously taking in the sights as well.
He's in his final mile. Woo. They're in their 7th mile. I mean, that's the speed that these guys run. And now he's entered the Park Central, just straight shot to us at the finish line. Again, Paul Lonyangata ran a marathon in the end of October in China, where he took 2nd place in 2 hours, 9 minutes, and 49 seconds. He had a 1-week recovery, found out he was coming to Honolulu at the end of November. Wow. Still is not quite sure he's got this race. He just wants to take one more peek over his shoulder, but he came through on the day. Felt great, followed his pace hitter, Dixon Chumba, and at 30 kilometers, he took the lead and extended it all the way to 25 seconds. He saw that gap reduced to 10 seconds going through Triangle Park, but he found his energy return going up Diamond Head, and a lot of it had to do with those outbound runners being now right alongside him, really thick, and those cheers just are like energy, just comes right into your legs, and he's just flying right now.
How about this? So we have some separation here. We have some separation on the other side as well with Cynthia Limo. Looks like it's going to be an all-Kenyan win if things hold. I'm not trying to get too far ahead of ourselves. Is this where you normally would see this kind of separation, or does that vary race to race?
No, generally speaking, in races that have pace setters,
yes.
We have a pace setter here, but it's not like Boston, London, New York. That's New York and Boston don't have pacers, but Berlin, Chicago, the other fast ones, Valencia, Spain last weekend. Usually the pacer will go to 30K, and the race then sort of begins at 35 kilometers. So it's like a 7-kilometer race after a 35K run, traditionally speaking. But at 30K, at 25K, our pacer left. It took 5 kilometers for them to run on their own to sense, how do I feel? How do the other people feel around me? After that 5 kilometers, Paul Lonyangata says, I feel good. I sense a chance to break away and win this race. And that's when he made his move. So 5 kilometers after the pacer leaves is generally when the big winning move is made, and that's what happened here today.
Yeah, we mentioned that this is the rivalry with the Kenyans and the Ethiopians. It is the Boston Red Sox, it's the New York Yankees. The fact that it's both Kenyans this year, how much celebration is there going to be within those country?
Well, tons. I mean, just last year, the Ethiopians broke the string of 14 straight Kenyan victories. And this year, it's coming back to what the Kenyans believe is the normal set of affairs.
Okay, it looks like we have our final shot. If we could get a close-up, it looks like we have Lonyangata in the straightaway, and it's hard for us because we're right behind.
And we just turned 2 hours, 50 minutes on the clock. But as we said, the Honolulu Marathon's not about record times, it's about winning the race, and that's what Paul Lonyangata is going to do.
Okay. You see a lot of anticipation. We've already had our first female and we've already had our first male wheelchair finishers.
There's our lead vehicle just coming through the finish, and Dr. Jim Merrill and Guy.
We still got some time.
It's a long
we're
stretch.
Just seconds away. We're just seconds away, but you're right, it is a long stretch. He's covering that ground really fast, though.
Here he goes. Kenya's Paul Lonyangata wins the 2023 Honolulu Marathon. 2 hours, 15 minutes, 42 seconds unofficially.
He doesn't look phased.
Yeah, they're in superb condition.
Yeah.
Second place, Philemon Ande, 2:16 flat. So an 18-second victory. Wow.
After seeing what just transpired there, Tony, how does this compare with what you had as far as expectations for today?
Well, I'm telling you, an 18-second victory over a 2-hour race is very, very close. I mean, we have had almost a dead heat in the past where people have actually crossed the line chest to chest. But 18 seconds over this distance, that's a very narrow margin.
Yeah.
And he had to hold on. Paul Lonyangata could not just savor his victory. He had to push all the way to the line to ensure that he took the title.
Yeah, we have our Casey Lund over there. He's going to pull Paul over. We'd like to get his thoughts as to how things went out there on the course. But another tremendous race, and we still have the women to look forward to. And at the last time we had checked, we did have Limo, who had kind of pulled away, so
Cynthia
she's got
Limo.
a commanding lead. I think that is still the case at this point.
And as Toya mentioned, she was one of the great runners in the world between like 2013 to 2016, winning a silver medal at the World Half Marathon Championship. And when their daughter, Blessed, died with a spinal defect, she died before she was 2 years old, Cynthia went into a deep depression. And she lost a couple of years of training, didn't run. She's got two daughters now. She's back running, and she's really going to put like a cap on her career return with a victory here if she can hold on.
Yeah, we're efforting an interview, and we're gonna get that in a second. Right now, we're gonna take a quick break. We're watching the Honolulu Marathon on Sunrise. Finish line, Paul Lonyangata has literally run away with it, and he is our winner for 2023.
And run away from us.
Yeah.
At the same time, with Philman Ande from Eritrea in second place, just 18 seconds back. And now we're waiting Cynthia Limo from Kenya, our apparent women's champion in her debut marathon. Yeah. But just like with Paul Lonyangata and Philman Ande, the second place runner, Sintayo Gedahun, is only about 150 meters behind. And so it's nothing assured yet.
And we've seen just within the last hour, anything can happen. Things can change really quickly. We're going to get Lonyangata really quickly right here on set. We're efforting that interview right now. In the meantime, let's head on over to Billy V because he's watching that situation with Limo and the rest of the field. Billy?
Thank you very much. For most of this race, it was 3 women that were in the front of the pack for the women, and they were headed, of course, out towards Hawaii Kai. But as we made the turnaround and headed in towards town, things have changed. Toya Revis is with me, and of course, runner, running coach. And what have you seen here as we get near to the end of this portion of the race?
Well, as we get closer to the end, like I said, Limo, it looked like it was a strategic plan to go at 35K. She did that right at the aid station, took her aid, and just sprinted away from the rest of the guys and Sintayo. And like I said, she has about 150, almost 200 meter lead right now. We just passed 24 miles in 2:20.44. Limo's going uphill, but she still looks really, really strong. Her arm carriage, everything that you look for in a runner to see if they're struggling, she looks really good. And that lead is probably just getting a little bit bigger.
You noticed that the conditions, they were kind of pristine in the start here, and then you noticed that the wind may have taken its toll in portions of the Hawaii Kai run?
Yes, that could have something to do with that. They were shielded by some guys at first. Then they were shielded by one guy. They were all single file. So I think Limo was just biding her time until 35K. Then she said, okay, let's go. And she looks great.
All right, with that, let's go back over to Kapiolani Park and the finish line with Steve and Tony.
Yeah, all right, thank you, Billy. We're here with Paul Lonyangata, the winner for the 2023 Honolulu Marathon. How do you feel?
I'm feeling so happy.
Yeah?
Yes.
We saw you constantly looking over your shoulder, even though you had a huge gap between first and second place. When did you know that you actually had this?
Since the start, you know, the build was, I know everybody there was very strong. So from the start until the finish, I was worried maybe there is another guy follow me.
Yeah.
Yes.
What were the conditions like out there?
Wow, the condition was very hot.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then so the course also was uphill.
Yeah.
A lot of uphill.
Yeah.
Yes.
How much are you monitoring right now? I know you can see maybe a little bit on the screen, but Cynthia Limo having a lead right now, how much does that mean to you as a fellow Kenyan?
I'm happy. Because you see, since October, I was so much preparing for this race.
Yeah.
Yes.
Tony has mentioned this, that it's such a quick turnaround between now and your previous, I think you just ran back in October. Are you surprised that you were able to have such a strong performance on such short recovery?
Yes, I was so happy because I only stayed for two months to prepare this race.
Yeah.
Yes.
When did you know to make the breakaway move? It was around 30 kilometers. Did you sense the weakness in your opponent, or did you just felt strong?
When we reached around 18 kilometers, when I see my watch, it was so slow. I told the pacemaker maybe to increase a little bit, so that maybe we push, so that maybe time can come under 2:10. Yes.
But it was not the kind of day. He ran under 2:10 in his last marathon in China at the end of October. But the fact that you could recover so well and still win, how much does winning a race as famous as the Honolulu Marathon mean? There's so many past Kenyan champions here. What does it mean to be on that list of champions?
I think my race in October was in China, and you see China, it is the same as like the course was the same as this one. That one we didn't have pacemakers, but we have a strong field on that time. So today we have a pacemaker, but a lot of wind, maybe a lot of some uphill. Yes, but I see if we bring a strong pacemaker, we can run even 2:7 here. It's
2:7. Wow. Well, the course record is just under 2 hours and 8 minutes. But already our champion of 2023 already thinking ahead to running fast in 2024 and beyond. A great performance, Paul.
Thanks so much.
Yeah. How's the body feeling?
I'm feeling so happy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm very relaxed.
What do you do to celebrate tonight?
Pardon?
To celebrate, how are you going to celebrate this win?
I indicate this my win to my training mates, my coach, and my management also.
Yeah. Well,
yes.
It's all worked. It's all worked.
The medal is worth solid gold medal, worth $15,000.
That's fantastic.
That's fantastic, is it ever? Thanks, Paul.
I think it's first time for the marathon to give out a red gold.
Absolutely. It's the most expensive medal in marathon history.
Yeah.
Yes, thanks so much.
Well, Paul, congratulations. Thank you for joining us.
Recover well.
All right, so we're still waiting on the women, and as soon as they cross the finish line, we'll be right there with them as well. We're going to keep tracking that. We'll bring it to you. We're going to take a quick break, though, right now, and we'll be right back after this.
Welcome to Sunrise's special edition of the 51st Honolulu Marathon. Exciting so far. A quick recap of what we've been seeing over at the men's marathon elite race. Paul Lonyangata from Kenya is the champion of the men's race. He finished with an official time of 2 hours, 15 minutes, and 42 seconds. There you see that winning moment. And of course, the first female finishers, they are now approaching the finish line, led by Kenya's Cynthia Limo. She's looking to join this list of the top female finishers ever in the race. And let's head over to Steve and Tony, who are at the finish line, to see if she can do it. Hey, guys.
Annalisa, thank you. Yeah, and we're right behind us. You can still see Paul Lonyangata doing his victory lap, still taking pictures and so forth. Well deserved. But let's get an update as to where we are with Cynthia Limo.
Well, the last time I heard from Toya, is that she was still looking good going downhill, passing 25 miles in 2 hours, 26 minutes and 28 seconds. So I think once you start going downhill, you're entering the park, you know, all the hard part is behind you now.
Yeah.
She's not going to get caught.
Yeah.
Cynthia Limo is going to be our women's champion.
You know, we speak all the time about the elite athletes and the level that these people are at. But to have Paul come out here and to be, I mean, tired, but not collapsing, not completely out of breath, maybe take a couple of pictures, walk on over and be completely eloquent in an interview. I mean, world-class athlete doesn't even begin to tell you how great these guys are.
I think what we've done is, over the years, the marathon was born in myth when Phidippides in 492 BC, taking the message from Marathon to Athens that the Greek army had beaten back a Persian invading force. He died after living the message. So it begins with the first guy did it, died. It took 2,500 years before they ran the second one at the 1896 Olympic Games. So it has a reputation of being this incredibly difficult event.
Right.
Well, it is, but the modern day athlete has out-trained the distance. They train longer than marathon distances. It's no longer an endurance event for them as much as a speed event at distance.
Right.
So they've changed the nature of the event from what it was mythologically to just another speed event. That's how good they are.
It's the speed, it's the endurance, it's the strategy, it's the discipline that goes in.
They're not thinking about, I'm not finishing this race.
Okay, so now we have a live look. We have Cynthia right here coming down the final stretch, and she should be appearing right over our shoulders any moment now.
It still looks good. I mean, she's not, her stride looks very comfortable. She's not falling apart. Unlike Paul, she's not looking over her shoulder, or at least I haven't
she's
seen
very
it yet.
confident. Well, even looking over her shoulder for her, we can't even see the second place finisher anywhere near her at this point.
No, I mean, once again, Cynthia Limo was a world-class athlete. Between, I think, 2014 and 2016, there was a period where in 51 races, she was either first or second in 43 of them. I mean, I think she won 12 races in the year of 2014 alone. I mean, that's how good she was. And then her daughter died, and it really tossed her into a deep depression, and it took her a long time to come out of that. And then just in November 26th, her longtime coach and manager out of East Lansing, Michigan, Owen Anderson, died of a long battle with cancer. So even though that's very painful, it also gives you motivation.
Right.
And she's going to win this race for Owen and for Blessed.
Yeah. We saw her pass the Waikiki Aquarium just a little while ago. She's very close to us right now. You know, all of what you just mentioned is definitely worth mentioning, especially like people will look at this and say, well, this is her first time running a marathon or racing in a marathon. So all the more amazing to see her come out in her debut and just completely run away with this. Let's take a look behind us because she is just about to cross the finish line.
2:32:50 on the clock and counting. She's coming down in the final few steps. Cynthia Limo from Kenya, champion of the Honolulu Marathon 2023. Just over 2 hours, 33 minutes, her winning time. Cynthia Limo.
So again, last year, the Ethiopians were celebrating breaking that long streak of not winning. And now we're right back to the Kenyans, a sweep for both the men and the women.
Right, and just watch for her now. Now that she's got this experience under her belt, she's 33 years of old, so that's not too old. She's right in her wheelhouse yet. Watch out for her at one of the majors next year.
Yeah. All right. And you think she'll be back?
You know, it's hard. If she gets invited to like Boston, to London, ends up in Berlin, Chicago, New York, the majors, if she does well there, she might not be back. Right. This has always been, Honolulu has always been a springboard over the years for developing and identifying new talent. And this started back in 1985 when Ibrahim Hussein, the first Kenyan man to win the Honolulu Marathon, he was the first East African to win both the New York City and Boston marathons, and it started from there. We've got Josiah Thungwane, our 93 champion, won the 1996 Olympic Games. Our 95 champion was the silver medalist in 96. So tremendous athletes have been identified here in Honolulu who have gone on to be world beaters elsewhere at the World Majors and the Olympic Games.
Well, whether she's here or not, I imagine that it will be up to her. I'm sure she'll be invited as well.
Absolutely.
So we'll wait and see. Look, Cynthia is out there taking some pictures. We're efforting getting her over here to the set, and we'd love to pick her brain as to how things went today. So stay tuned for that. That'll come up right after the break. We'll be right back. Two hours, 33 minutes and a second. That is the unofficial time?
No, I just got it. I just got it on,
okay.
on our app, and I have it as the official time now.
That is the official time.
2:33:01.
Okay.
2:35:16. Sentatayo Gedahun in second place. So that gap at the end actually expanded quite remarkably.
Yes.
It was a close race, but I said in the marathon, once it starts going south, you can go south in a hurry. And time gaps can open up very hurriedly. And in third place, Kazu Lemene in 2:36:04. So Kenya, Ethiopia. 1, 2, 3.
Yeah. Okay. So we're still seeing a few more of the elite runners come through. In the meantime, we know that there are a lot of people that are running this for the first time. A lot of people just trying to challenge themselves. A lot of weekend warriors, and those people are probably coming right around towards Kyle HNN right now. Kyle, what are you seeing?
What's up, guys? That's right. We got music here. I'm at the turn in Hawaii Kai, right by Honolulu Bay. They got the music pumping. I'm feeling it. The crowd is feeling it. The volunteers are feeling it. I'm gonna step aside here and show there's been a steady stream of people here making this turn, going back through onto Kalanianaole, then to the final stretch of the marathon. And yeah, I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I wouldn't necessarily have the brightest of faces if I was at this point actually running the thing, but these volunteers are out here and they're doing their very best to keep them cheerful, keep the spirits high, the music, like I said. And earlier, you know, we saw a lot going on in the turn. We saw obviously the elite runners and the leaders come by, but then there was actually a little bit of some craziness. Make sure you guys follow the traffic rules if you are driving this morning anywhere near the racetrack. A vehicle made their way onto the course. Nobody was injured, but everything ended up being okay. But just a little bit of craziness here in the early hours of the marathon. But that's kind of the latest here at the turn. We're going to send things back to the finish line with Steve and Tony. Guys?
Every other marathon.
Yeah, all right, thank you, Kyle. Cynthia just finished the race. Cynthia and Limo came out on top, 2 hours, 33 minutes and a second. That was the official time. But she looks like she just went out for a morning jog. She looks like she's unfazed by this. How are you feeling right now?
I'm feeling good.
Yeah.
And first of all, I just want to give all my gratitude and and all thanksgiving to God for what He has really done for me. Secondly, I want to appreciate all the organizers for this race of Honolulu, the organizers, the race organizer, and the whole team, the coordinators who make this race to be successful. I'm very, very proud of them, and also giving me a chance to come and compete in Honolulu Marathon, being my first debut, and also to have come to win this day. I'm so happy, I'm so great.
Yeah. Cynthia, we want to voice our appreciation for putting on such a great show. It was tremendous to watch you out there. When did you know that you had this, that you were going to indeed be the winner?
Towards, as we are around 35 kilometers, before that around 30 kilometers, we had left the other lady behind, and she was behind us. And as we continue running up to that 5 kilometers, that's where we were with one of my colleagues. And when I just ended that 5 kilometers, I knew that I was feeling strong, and I knew that it's only 7 kilometers that is remaining. And I had in my mind that I love to push, I love to persevere with these few kilometers and to come to win this race.
Now, Cynthia, this is your first marathon, but once again, this is a former medalist at the World Half Marathon Championships, one of the great runners on the planet. Did anything about the distance, about the marathon, surprise you today? Any surprises in the way it felt?
Sometimes I've been hearing from my colleagues that 5 kilometers, that is how full marathon starts. But to me, yes, I paired in my mind that will not make me feel not to finish the race, but I had to give myself a lot of encouragement. I have to have my personal strength and say that even if that 5 kilometers, people say marathon starts from there, I said no. I have to push it, I have to believe on myself. And since I trained for it, I had a lot of hopes that I'll finish.
So much of the marathon is a mental game.
Yeah, it's about mental. Yeah.
And the other thing is, we all would give our condolences to Owen Anderson, your coach, your mentor, almost a father figure in East Lansing, Michigan, where you stay when you race in the United States. Did you have Owen in your heart today, taking you through this journey?
Yes, I had, because since the beginning of this year, I've been requesting him to enter me a marathon before the year ends, and he has been promising me that he'll have to make sure that I run a marathon before the end of this year. And since he left us 2 weeks ago, I was so shocked about his death, but I had to give myself, I have to encourage myself and say, since Owen has left, he has finished his race. But for us who are still alive, you have to fight for it, we have to go for it. And I said I have to run good, even if I'll not win, I have to run my own race, a good race, to memorize about Owen.
Right, I think he'd be very proud of you. He's honored by your performance today.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
You ran a tremendous race. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
But
I appreciate
we should mention, Cynthia, first time in Honolulu, first time running a marathon. Planning to be back next year?
Yes, God willing, next year, if you will welcome me, I'm ready to come back. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Cynthia. Congratulations. Thank you, mahalo.
Thanks, Cynthia. See, a very sweet lady and a great athlete.
Yeah, well-deserved win today. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back after this. You're watching the special edition of Sunrise at the Honolulu Marathon.
Sunrise's special presentation of the 51st Honolulu Marathon. It's been super exciting. A huge congratulations to the winners, Paul Lonyangata and Cynthia Limo of Kenya. And of course, a lot of the runners are from international origins. How do Honolulu Marathon visitors actually differ from others that come to the islands? Howard Dicus takes a look.
Running a marathon is physically taxing, so marathoners tend to fly here a day or two before the race and do nothing taxing apart from carbo loading the night before. Then they reward themselves with some serious wining and dining and shopping in the days that follow. In a moment, I'll tell you how to spot them. One thing that distinguishes the Honolulu race from other famous marathons is a policy of keeping the checkpoints up as long as possible, as long as it takes, to get the last finishers across the line. This is especially attractive to the Japanese contingent, which includes Tokyo business executives who bring whole cheering sections of family members and corporate subordinates. Not finishing is not an option, too much loss of face, while taking a long time to finish is no shame, showing dogged determination. Now, how do you spot a marathoner the day after the race? Simple. They walk like their feet hurt. Howard Dicus, Hawaii News Now.
Keep that in mind, Howard, and good luck to all the runners today. Let's take a look out toward East Oahu along Kalani and Ole. We can see a lot of them making their way out toward that eastbound direction of traffic. And just a reminder, though, that there will be at least one lane of traffic closed until at least 5 o'clock this evening. And that's as runners finish out certain courses. Once the last runner finishes that course, then crews will be able to reopen all lanes. But it started at Ala Moana Beach Park. We'll head out toward East Honolulu, you saw in our traffic cameras, and then wrap back around over to Kapi'olani Park. So expect at least one lane closed near Kapi'olani Park for the remainder of this race until at least 5 o'clock this evening. If you want to use an alternate route, try and stick with the H1 freeway, not too bad there. Or you've also got Kapi'olani Boulevard as well. That's the latest on your first alert traffic on this Sunday morning for the Honolulu Marathon. We'll be right back.
All right, welcome back. We're here at the finish line. Jeremy Morgan is the first Hawaii resident to finish. What was your time, Jeremy?
It was about 2:37, 30, somewhere around there.
2:37:43.
Okay.
You might recognize Jeremy from he was leading the women out Kalani'aleole Highway. Did you? I mean, how was that? You were being the pacer for the women. Did you? Was that cool?
It was awesome. I was not planning on that, and it just kind of happened. The other guys that were in front of them just kind of split up, and so it just happened that I hopped up in front of them and helped pace them, block the wind for them for quite a few miles, up to about mile 19 or 20.
I bet you give some energy, right?
It did. It helped a lot. I sat behind them for a little bit, and then getting up there with them definitely helped, and it felt really good to be up there with them and feel like I was part of that group.
If you don't recognize Jeremy right away, you might recognize the mustache, because that was prominent right there in that shot. How about this? You live out in Ka'ava, so what is your normal route when you do your practice runs?
All up and down the coast on Kamehameha Highway. I'll just run Chinaman's Hat all the way up to Polynesian Cultural Center in Laie, and just run all up and down that coast.
Oh, that's a beautiful run. Yeah. That's a beautiful run. What was it like out there today?
It was beautiful. It was just a light breeze, helped keep us really cool, and really nice. Didn't rain on us or anything. It was beautiful weather and a little hilly.
No, just it's beautiful. We talked to our winners from Kenya, Cynthia Limo. And Paul Lonyangata. Oh, it was really hot. It was really difficult conditions. Then we talked to a Hawaiian resident. Oh, it was cool. Yeah, the wind was blending. Exactly. It all depends on where you start.
Right. Yeah. I've gotten used to running out here, so I've definitely had some hotter, rougher races around here.
As a runner, you're out there, so you know you're not going to finish in with the elites necessarily. But do you feel a sense of competitiveness? Do you think about being the first Hawaii resident? Is that a goal that you set for yourself?
It crossed my mind, but the big goal was just get out there, do the best I could. I trained really hard for months leading up to this, and I just wanted to go out there and give it the best I could. And I know a lot of the other top runners on the island, and we knew we were going to all be kind of close together, and just see what plays out in the race.
There's a lot of bragging rights in this. I mean, don't kid yourself. Up our top Hawaiian resident and the Kama'aina champion. These are important titles that you carry within any running community. So big congratulations, Jeremy. You had to earn it. Every time you got to earn it. You did 6 minute per mile pace. That's 2:37 in the marathon.
Yeah. Whatever you're eating or drinking tonight, man, enjoy. You deserve it. Thanks, man. All right,
goodbye, Jeremy.
All right, so again, we got the elite runners that have already finished, but now we still have the day-to-day guys that are just trying to challenge themselves for something different.
Yeah, Kama'aina next. That's the born and raised.
Yeah, and so a lot of them are probably passing by Kyle HNN right now. Kyle, what do you see?
Yeah, that's right, guys. I'm here at the turn here in Hawaii Kai. Got people coming by, a good sea of people, and in that group will be a pair of newlyweds. They're trading in the cold weather of Nebraska for the tropical climate here in Hawaii, taking on the Honolulu Marathon for the first time. But this race, this has special meaning for the bride.
It's snowing and we're like, can't relate.
Matt and Bailey Yuso tied the knot earlier this week on Oahu. They went from signing their wedding papers to signing marathon papers to participate in the 51st Honolulu Marathon.
It was really special. It was very intimate. It's snowing and we're like, can't relate.
Matt and Bailey Yuso tied the knot earlier this week on Oahu. They went from signing their wedding papers to signing marathon papers to participate in the 51st Honolulu Marathon.
It was really special. It was very intimate, just the two of us being here. We didn't have any other guests with us, so we could really soak in the moment, just the two of us.
Both admit that they aren't marathon runners, so the plan of attack, nice and easy.
It'll be my first marathon I've ran, so we're just going to take it slow, and we got a long vacation ahead of us still, so we're not going to wear ourselves out too much.
But for Bailey, this race holds a special place in her heart. Her mother Cammie ran this very marathon back in the day. She passed away in 2005 due to cancer. Now daughter Bailey is running the race in her honor.
It's a really special opportunity for the two of us to be able to do this with our work schedules working out, and then obviously the marathon being this week. I think it's a really special opportunity to be able to commemorate her and include her into our special day and our special time.
And although Bailey will have her mom in her mind, she'll have a little piece of her while out on the course. Bailey has the same race number that her mom had all those years ago.
Just if it's possible to get the same number, that'd be super awesome. And they're like, yeah, we can see what we can do. And then to find out, I think 2 days ago, I found out that I had the same race number. I'm like, oh, it's super awesome. You know, just another way to have her involved with us for this trip. More excitement for me in terms of I can do the same thing she can. Obviously, no longer she can do it, but at least we are contributing to her honor there.
All the while taking in the tropical setting every step of the way.
You know, pictures don't do it justice for what we see here, so it'll be nice to stop, take it all in, and enjoy the experience as a whole, not just to say, oh, I ran a marathon.
Reporting in Honolulu, HNN, Hawaii News Now.
Welcome back, everybody, to Sunrise's special presentation of the 51st Honolulu Marathon. An exciting morning of racing continues here on K5 and across HNN digital platforms. Let's take a live look over the finish line of the marathon, where runners are completing the race of their lives at Kapiolani Park. It's actually the final hour of our coverage. Runners have been on that course for 3 hours now. Nearly 30,000 runners entered races this marathon weekend, and 9 of them were in the elite field, looking to etch their names in the race history books. And to give you an update, Paul Lonyangata from Kenya, the champion of the men's 51st Honolulu Marathon. He actually finished with an unofficial time of 2 hours, 15 minutes, 42 seconds. Philman Ande of Eritrea came in second place, and Ruben Kiprop-Kerio in third. He is also from Kenya. Congratulations to the men. And of course, for the women, Cynthia Limo of Kenya crossed first. 2 hours, 33 minutes and 1 second, her unofficial time. She was followed by Sintayahu Getahun of Ethiopia. And then in third place, Kasubitu Lemene, also of Ethiopia. So again, Kenyans taking the lead there on both races. This year, the first place finishers actually take home $25,000 and medals made of real gold, and that's worth about $15,000. The second place finishers get $10,000, and then third place, $5,000. But more important than the money is the bragging rights of finishing first at a world-renowned marathon. And of course, those groups play such an important role for the events. Steve actually telling us, and Tony, many of the racers really rely on those volunteer efforts to get to the finish line. And let's head over now to the finish line. Speaking of which, with Steve and Tony with the Kama'aina runner. Morning, guys.
Yes. Annalisa, you talk about people finishing first or different categories. Kama'aina being one of them. Zachary Lee is the first Kama'aina finisher. He's an Iolani grad, grew up in Waipio, Mililani, represent. How's it feel? How you doing?
Still catching my breath. Feels good though. Feels good. Yeah.
Do you take a little bit of pride in that? I mean, you're not going to catch the elite guys, but at the same time, you might be the first guy to finish from Hawaii.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's not something that I'm necessarily coming out here to do. I'm coming out here to just enjoy myself and see what I could do. Yeah. But it's definitely a nice treat on top of everything else. Yeah.
I imagine you accomplish everything that you set out to do, right? I mean,
not always, but that's part of it too. That's part of the sport. So that's what I enjoy about it. Yeah. Yeah.
What was it like out there? The heat, the hills, and anything different from last year? Condition-wise.
It felt windier this year. I don't know. I don't know what the numbers exactly were, but it definitely felt windy going out. But good support, and I had a good little group to run with going out to Hawaii Kai and coming back, so that helped. I saw a lot of friends along the way, so kept me going. Yeah.
Now, Zach, you just ran another marathon in October.
Yep.
How'd you do? Where, and how'd you do there?
Yeah. I ran the Chicago Marathon, and that one was actually my personal best. I ran a 2:41 there.
Now talk about, the condition. Chicago's, first of all, the world record was set in Chicago. And now one of the fastest courses in the world, and then you come to one of the slowest majors in the world. I mean, talk about the difference. It's 26.2 miles, but there's a lot of difference between those two.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's always the humidity here, the heat. We had a kind of a cool day today, but the wind's always a challenge. And Diamond Head going out and coming back is never fun. Doesn't matter how well trained you are.
But also that long grade up through Triangle Park, through Kahala. I mean, it's like people don't realize that that's not a hill, but it's a grade, and you get no benefit out of that.
Definitely not. But we do train on it almost every week, so it helps. Maybe that's to my advantage.
Really interesting thing is you didn't run track, you didn't run cross country. You're a soccer player. When did you transition into this, or why?
First marathon was in 2016. I actually had the crazy idea to propose to my now wife at the end of the marathon, so that was what kind of got me going on it. That was the first year I had moved back from the mainland. And then I've been hooked, so yeah.
All right, man. Well, many more, I would imagine.
It's the second one, right? You won in 2018?
Yeah.
Well, now you're heading toward Jonathan Liao's 17 Kama'aina titles.
I don't know about that. I got a long way to go.
Keep doing what you're doing, because it's working.
Good job,
Zachary Lee.
Be well.
Kama'aina winner, Iolani graduate.
Cover well.
Congratulations. All right. Meanwhile, there's still a lot of racing. There's still a lot of people out there on the course, so let's head over to Kyle HNN at the halfway mark. Kyle, what's going on over there?
What's up, guys, over there at the finish line? First off, shout out Milani. I heard that in the interview. That's right, putting on for the city. But yeah, I'm here at the turnaround point in Hawaii Kai. Got a good stream of people here. I'm going to step off camera here, and you just see the sea of people coming in, just groups and groups. The vibes are high. People are cheering. I want to give a shout out to these volunteers that have been, handing out refreshments and aid. They've been here earlier than we were, and our call time was 3 a.m. So they were out here setting things up, and they're even more energetic than we are, and they're keeping the vibes high. They got the music bumping, and you just see everyday guys coming in, doing this marathon, all for the fun, the love of it, whatever you want to, whatever passions you have, they're out here doing it. I mean, more power to them. You see me on camera. The camera adds 10 pounds, but those 10 pounds are for real, guys. You will not see me on this course anytime soon. So a lot of credit to these guys out here attacking the course. Our very own Eddie Dowd is on the course right now as well, too. He's out there somewhere. Not too sure if he's anywhere near us here at the turn, but the vibes are high, and it is a nice, cool day. A little bit of breeze. I'm going to come back on camera. What's up, guys? Yeah, I'm not a marathon runner, as you can see visually, but these guys are kicking butt here, making that turn, going through Hawaii Kai, down back onto Kalanianaole to the finish line. But we will send things back into the studio with Annalisa Annalisa?
Oh, Kyle, I was just laughing because I am not a marathon runner either, or even a runner, so I can relate to you. Thank you so much for being out there and telling us the stories of all those regular runners that are out there. We've been talking about the elite runners and then, of course, the weekend warriors pounding the pavement. And a huge part of today, actually, are the local groups that are manning those 16 aid stations across the course. We forget about the volunteers that make this marathon happen. Steve Uyohara actually spoke to one of the leaders of Boy Scouts of America, Troop 101, and his son. They've been passing out water and Gatorade for at least 10 years.
I guess you can say it's fun. We get to go out really early. We get to go out early in the morning, which I don't get to do a lot, and we get to pass out cups to the runners.
Okay. Dad, to get out, what is it, like 3 o'clock in the morning?
Well, it's easy for me to do that. It's a little harder to get a younger scout to do it, but it is very rewarding. We're asked to do it, and we voluntarily and gladly help serve the water, like Evan says, and Gatorade.
Okay, so I heard there's a little bit of a competition amongst some of the other scouts during the day?
Yeah, so usually we compete to see who can get more water cups. I think I compete in the beginning, but then I kind of just forget how much water I get because I'm tired. I've been up since like 3 in the morning.
Wait, so to clarify, to see how many runners take a cup from you specifically. For Evan himself, it must be great to do this year after year, but you've seen the growth, right? So this is when Evan was maybe like yay high or so when he first started doing this. And to see it now when he's more of an adult-ish, I mean, is it kind of strange to see his growth over the years?
Yes, it's very rewarding actually to see the growth. We were asked 8 to 10 years ago to start doing the water station for the marathon, and the first year that we did it, we really didn't know what we should do, what we should be doing. We got the hang of it quickly, and we've been asked continuously year after year to do it, and we're happy to do it. In fact, our responsibilities have expanded. We're asked to do another water station.
Oh. Are there any specific rules? I imagine you just hold it, you don't shove it. Anything specific when you hand out the water?
Actually, there's a specific way you're supposed to do it. So when you hold the cup, you're supposed to hold it out, and you're not supposed to like grab it because when the runners come, they're coming by really fast, and they have to grab the water really fast because they don't have time to stop. So you just have to hold the cup like.
Oh. The big excitement is being up early if you're on the first shift, seeing the Kenyans run through.
Oh.
So there's usually about 10 to 15 of them, men and women, and they just fly right on by within the first hour, and we're about halfway through.
Yeah.
And they don't stop for any water at all.
Yeah, how impressive are they?
They're really impressive. They're really fast, and they come by really early in the morning.
Yeah, all right. Evan, Jason, thank you for what you do, and we know that you're going to enjoy another year.
Thank you.
Good stuff.
Thank you very much, Steve.
We'll be right back. You're watching Sunrise on the Honolulu Marathon.
Thank you for all your volunteer work out there. Let's take a look out toward the Ala Moana area where the first road closures are actually starting to lift. So we have all lanes open now along Ala Moana Boulevard, right next to Ala Moana Beach Park. This is where the race had started. However, if you're traveling anywhere out toward the east, you saw in those cameras earlier, we still have a lot of runners out on the roadways. A live look right now along Kalani na Ole near Ainakoa. And then they will continue down Kalakaua Avenue over toward the Kapi'olani Park area. So closures again scheduled to last until at least 5 o'clock this evening or until the last runners wrap up their time on the Honolulu Marathon race course. You're watching Sunrise. We'll be right back.
right, guys, here we are. We got the full crew in. Casey's wandering around still, probably eating a bunch of malasadas. But well, how'd it go, guys? What did you guys see out there in the field?
You know, it was for me. It was the first time ever being in a pace car. I've always done the coverage from inside the studio. So to actually be out there on the course, to actually be able to see the runners, to hear from Tony's wife the situational awareness of the strategy, of the training, and everything that goes into it. It was really interesting, and I hope I get put into a pace car next year.
Yeah, no, for me, it's all the memories that came flooding back of doing the race. Good, bad, indifferent, and I saw all of that because following the lead man, seeing what it should be, and how running can be just a beautiful thing. And then you turn the other side and you see all the flock of normals walking through, really pain and struggling, and it really hit home for me. Yeah, it was pretty fun.
I think for myself, being a former sports reporter, and we would come over here, we pretty much get the shot from the finish line, you see the winner come through, get a couple of interviews, and then you pretty much, your day's pretty much done, right? But to really keep track of things in real time, from hour to hour, minute to minute, and to realize, hey, look, there's a lot of little nuance with the running, there's strategy that goes involved. Obviously, Tony helped with that as well. But to see the back and forth, a 25-second lead down to a 12-second lead, back up to a 30-second lead, and then to completely dust the field. I mean, it's amazing to see that kind of drama unfold.
Well, that's the word. The word is drama. It's a building drama. It's an unwritten drama. The great thing about sports, in any sport, is at the starting line, the possibilities are this, that, and the other, but you don't know how it's going to play out. And it's the playing out which is where the drama and the excitement lies. And to cover it is a joy.
And you're talking about the drama, and it's because when we're out on the course, we can see those little subtleties in the course. All of a sudden, there's a little bit of a tailwind. And then next thing you know, they're climbing up something that doesn't look like a climb. Because when you're in a car driving Kalana and all that, you don't realize there are these ups and downs that really affect you when you're running.
Or when you're doing that last hill of Diamond Head, because when you're running it and you're doing that last, it's just killing you. And then you finally hit the slope and woo!
But the best thing about Diamond Head is the fact that you got all those thousands of outbound runners still there to kind of juice you at the end when you really need that extra little oomph. Those outbound runners are there to give it to you.
It makes for such a great shot too, because you can see like two different lines, right? Two different lanes basically. You see one guy blazing through, like no problems, barely sweating, and you see a whole bunch of guys on the other side completely suffering, right? And now we're seeing pretty much the same thing over here. We see these guys come through the finish line, they're dropping to their knees, they're completely exhausted. We saw Paul Lonyangata come over and pretty much just kind of like prance over, like, hey guys, what's going on?
But you know what's common for everybody? At some point in the race, you realize that you're running this course in absolutely beautiful, spectacular conditions in this setting that can't be replicated almost anywhere else in the world.
No, never. I mean, Honolulu, I've always said, yes, it's an American 50th state, but it's its own special place. I mean, the whole world looks at Hawaii in the same way. It's this special little jewel in the middle of the ocean. It's the most isolated place in the world, and the place everyone wants to be isolated in.
And speaking of this place, there was a lot of people who were out there. As a matter of fact, your wife was surprised. What are this? There's a crowd here. And she turned and there was people down in Kaka'ako, people out in Hawaii, Kahala that were just out there. But you cheering people on, or you helping in some way and volunteering, that's appreciated, just so you know.
Tony talked about that. He said aloha spirit. That's what it was. That's what it was.
And from 3 local boys to hear that from you, man, that means a lot too. We appreciate
the other thing is that people, if you could do this, there's so much more in life that you're capable of. And a lot of people who watch these marathons look at these people finishing and the look on their face and they say, I want that feeling. But nobody could put it into a box with a bow on it, put it under the tree on Christmas or for your birthday.
You got to earn it.
You got to earn it. And you're as good as your last race, you're as good as your last workout. And it's one of the great joys in life to be able to do something you didn't think you were able to do before.
Yeah, and a lot of people are doing that. Okay, we got more time. Right now, though, let's go into studio. Annalisa's got more.
Yeah, thanks, guys, for covering it. So many wonderful, inspiring stories. Every runner today has a story. Grace Lee actually found out why one participant is flying in from the San Francisco Bay Area to show his son that nothing will stop him, not even a debilitating physical illness.
Really hard, right? Trying to do it while battling spinocerebellar ataxia, an incurable disease that affects your walking, coordination, and balance. seems unsurmountable, but that's exactly what Junichi Kakutani plans to do today. And joining us from the San Francisco Bay Area to talk more about this. Now, I wanted to ask you about why you want to run the Honolulu Marathon while having ataxia, Junichi.
I always wanted to run a marathon, but I was giving up because of my disease. Then one of my friends ran San Francisco Marathon, and then I realized maybe I should try while I still can walk. And Honolulu Marathon doesn't have cutoff time, so it's ideal for me.
Right? Trying to do it while battling spinocerebellar ataxia, an incurable disease that affects your walking, coordination, and balance, seems unsurmountable. But that's exactly what Junichi Kakutani plans to do today. And joining us from the San Francisco Bay Area to talk more about this. Now, I wanted to ask you about why you want to run the Honolulu Marathon while having ataxia, Junichi.
I always wanted to run a marathon, but I was giving up because of my disease. Then one of my friends ran San Francisco Marathon, and then I realized maybe I should try while I still can walk. And Honolulu Marathon doesn't have cutoff time, so it's ideal for me. That's why I decided to register for Honolulu Marathon.
Can you explain what it has been like while having ataxia and training for something this physically grueling?
It's hard because everyday task is hard, like walking and doing work. It's hard, you know. So trying to train for the marathon is extremely tough, but I do my best. I do rowing, and I just went to Mission Peak, nearby mountain in my local area.
When you find it difficult, whether you're training or actually doing the marathon, where do you find inspiration to keep going?
I have a son. He might have this same disease, and I want him to realize that he might have ataxia, but ataxia doesn't have him. So I want to just keep going. I want to show him what I can do with the disease. So in case he has it, he has inspiration about me. So.
What about for others who find inspiration in what you're doing? Do you have a message for them?
Everybody has something they want to do someday. But if you say someday, it's going to be always in the future. So don't say someday and pick a time. You know, you decide when you want to do it. Then you can start planning and you actually do it.
Are you going to take some time to actually enjoy Hawaii outside of the marathon with your family?
No, actually I'm going by myself. So, but yeah, I'm try to enjoy. I love Hawaii, so.
And then I also hear that you had another dream vacation that you actually are going to with your family, I believe, Mount Fuji?
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah, next summer I try to climb Mount Fuji in July.
All right, amazing story. Junichi, we wish you the very best as you walk the Honolulu Marathon and as you make your way up Mount Fuji. And we want to thank you for joining us here on Sunrise today.
Thank you very much.
All right, you're watching Sunrise on Hawaii News Now.
welcome back to this special edition of Hawaii News Now Sunrise for the 2023 Honolulu Marathon. We're here in the finishers area just to give you a little idea of what happens. So those racers come through, they'll go down there, they'll get their medals. We told you a little bit about that. Our Ashley Nagaoka told us how those are new this year. The final finishers, the top 4, get a solid gold medal. So it's exciting, of course. Then they check in at the finisher t-shirt tent. But we also wanted to bring you really everything, the sights and the sounds here. We've got the fans at the finish line. Make some noise, folks! Woo! Oh my God! Are we having fun or what? Man, can I ask you, where are you from, dear?
Hawaii.
Hawaii. What's it like? Okay. What's it like to see people, sometimes, I mean, collapsing across the finish line? How's it make you feel to be here to witness this kind of athleticism?
Scared to death. Really. Because it looks like he's not going to make it.
Yeah, you know, there have been, you know, some injuries, some things like that, but that is why it's so great. We have such an amazing medical tent crew, those folks that are here to render aid. I want to thank you so much for speaking with me. And I mean, is this inspiring you to run?
My son is coming down.
Oh, very good. We'll watch for him. What was your name? Janice.
And my son's tongue is tied.
We'll watch for him. Congratulations to your son. I also want to talk to some other special guests. I've got Julie and Allie Chu, former Miss Hawaii's. Ladies, you look beautiful, stunning. Your role, of course, to greet those runners as they cross the finish line, present them with lei, and I know that they keep the finish area open until the final runner comes here. But what is it like for you guys to be here, to have this really special moment with so many people?
Yeah, it's so exciting because we really do get the first hand and the first look at the winners across the finish line, so it's very exciting to be the first people to see them, see their reactions, and see them feel like so accomplished.
The energy here is just like unbeatable. You get up like at 4 o'clock in the morning, but it's all worth it because everyone here is just so excited to see the winners win.
Yeah, and when you place that lei around them now, Hakuli, that really represents Hawaii, Allie. What's this like for you? I mean, this is fun. It's a long day, I know, but I imagine it's pretty special.
Oh, it's such an honor to be here, and like we've done this for the last few years, and just getting to be a part of this whole team, and just, you know, it's just such an honor. Yeah.
Very good. Allie, Julie Chu, I know you still got some work to do because we're waiting on, who are we waiting on?
We're waiting for the 3rd place female wheelchair, so she should be coming in about a good 5 minutes or so.
Okay.
So we're excited to see her.
Very good. Allie, Julie, thank you guys so much. I'll let you get back to work. We've had such a fun morning so far. Of course, things started over at the starting line with the governor shooting the gun there. We were there as that happened. The fireworks, the atmosphere here, completely electric. We also want to just bring you back around here, show you the race as we start to see more of our athletes coming in here. Absolutely gorgeous morning for this. You know, you heard from some of the folks about the wind, that being a little challenging in some parts of the course, but it is a gorgeous, gorgeous sunny morning here in Kapiolani Park. We are going to take you later this morning, guys, over to the Malasada's tent. Of course, that is also a huge, yes, my cameraman, you see my cameraman saying, yes, we're going to the Malasada tent. So we're gonna head over there. I'll bring you some though, because Lacey Denise is gonna tell us a few things you might not know about that time-honored tradition here at the Honolulu Marathon. For now, I think we'll get ready to send things back over to Steve. But one more time, folks, can we make some noise for our athletes?
Come on over here. And by the way, Casey, when you come over here, you bring some of those Malasadas, all right? Because we're going to get any over here at the start and finish line, okay? Dr. Barahal, by the way, president of the Honolulu Marathon. Your thoughts on the 51st Honolulu Marathon? How'd it go?
We're a little over 3 hours in, so the professional race is over, and I think it was a great race because I think it was truly a race. It wasn't a time trial. We had great competition out there, had a tremendous runner. Paul's a tremendous athlete, and he came and won that race, made a big surge. Interesting, he surged at Diamond Head. Yeah. Ande pulled within 8 seconds of him going up to Diamond Head. And
there was nervous time.
Yeah, and he surged going up that hill. So I think the people going out who are at the 8-mile mark really helped bring him in. So it was a great race, and now we have thousands of more people that are going to complete the marathon and achieve their goals and their dreams here in the hours to come.
This is actually one of the fun moments, right? I mean, it's thrilling to see the elites come in, and it's amazing to see what kind of time they have. But you got this huge crowd right around Casey. Everybody's cheering. They want to see their friends and their family come in and do well. How excited do you get when you start to see the weekend warriors come through?
We love it. I mean, that's what the marathon's all about. We have no time limit.
Yes.
So we welcome the fastest and the slowest. Everybody, quite honestly, and it's really true, everybody's doing the best they can. So we don't judge the time. In many ways, someone who's taking 12, 14 hours is working a lot harder than Paul Lonyangata. I mean, really, try that sometime, being out here for 14 hours. So we really think the people that are going to be coming in the next few hours is really the essence of the event, and quite frankly, why we're here.
Yeah. And it's getting hot now.
It's getting hot now.
Where are we as far as the Japanese visitors? Are we getting a surge from them? Are they coming back?
We're just amazed at how many Japanese we got this year. You know, in 2019, before COVID, we had 15,000. This year we have almost 10,000. I think we're outpacing Hawaii tourism by quite a bit.
Yeah.
We're about 2/3 of the way back. We had a tremendous surge in the last couple months. People coming from Japan. The yen, of course, is weak, and that's hurting things. But I think it shows that the Japanese will still come for a reason. In this case, the Honolulu Marathon, a special event. The weather's been great. It may not be the best weather for doing a marathon, but the weather's great, and hopefully they'll have a great experience and go home and tell everybody. I think it's a great sign for Japanese tourism to Hawaii.
Yeah.
Jim, you've seen marathons all over the world, of course, and you've run them yourself. But talk about what the marathon, I mean, not just the Hawaiian Islands mean to the Japanese people, but the marathon means to them as well.
Yeah, the running and marathoning is really, really big in Japan in a way that American sports fans wouldn't understand. I mean, these are more like NBA players or NFL players. Japan has a long tradition of great running, and these ekidens, these relays in Japan, which features corporate university teams, are on national television. The streets are lined with people. Running is a huge, huge sport in Japan. And so I think we tap into that.
We saw yesterday at the Kalakaua Mary Mile, Nozomi Tanaka from Japan coming in second place. And the line for autographs was, you couldn't believe how long it was. I mean, she is a bona fide star in her home country.
She's truly a rock star. And I don't mean, you say, hey man, you're great, you're a rock star. I mean, she is like really, really famous in Japan. And she's their national record holder in, 3 middle and long distance events. For sure Olympian in Paris, so she's a real celebrity.
Well, talk about how important nowadays, and it's the 7th annual. The Kalakaua Mary Mile was run Saturday before the marathon on Sunday, and how much it's added to the event weekend.
Well, the mile for us, the Kalakaua Mary Mile, is amazing on many levels. We're trying to stay true to the cultural aspects of Hawaii, and the fact that it's called the Kalakaua Mary Mile, people think we mean Merry Christmas. Well, we do, but it's really the Merry Monarch.
Right.
So it's on Kalakaua Avenue, and the mile has enabled so many more people to participate in Marathon Weekend. That's really going to be the future of the event, because it's about healthy lifestyle, activity, and being an active participant. And when people travel, they want to have experiences. They don't just necessarily want to sit on the beach and relax. They want to do that too. But if you can be an active participant when you travel somewhere, I think the trip is more meaningful. And so family members who previously would come and cheer their marathoning spouse, husband, wife, whatever on, now have a chance with the mile to get on the road, and participate and feel active, and I think much more connected to the event and more connected to Hawaii.
Yeah, sports tourism. By all means, an absolute success. Dr. Bearhall, thank you for joining us.
Thank you, and thank you guys for the coverage.
Yeah, congratulations. All right, we're going to take a quick break. We got more to come on this special edition of Sunrise at the Honolulu Marathon. We'll be right back.
Welcome back, everybody, to HNN Sunrise presentation of the 51st Honolulu Marathon here on K5 and our digital platforms. The marathon is not only an iconic sporting event, but also a huge economic boost for the state. Our Billy V explains the impact.
We're getting to talk story with Outrigger Resorts and Hotels. As a matter of fact, Cassie Simpson joins us. She is and your title is?
Area Director of Sales.
Now, let's talk about, first of all, you are partners. This is the official, host hotel for the marathon, right?
Yes, yes, and thank you so much for being here. Outrigger Resorts and Hotels. Outrigger has been the host hotel for the Honolulu Marathon. Our partnership has been going on years right now. And Outrigger, being the Hawaii-based hotel hospitality company that it is, has such a tie to the community, and we're so lucky to be a part of it.
Talk about the history of business. Things before the pandemic were wonderful, but then as the pandemic set in, you've had to kind of change what you do and how you do business. How did the pandemic affect you?
Well, during the pandemic, the Honolulu Marathon was virtual, so there wasn't per se a crowd that came to Waikiki. So welcoming back those families and those visitors, is really great for the economy and the economic impact that the Honolulu Marathon has on the destination is very great, whether that be through retail or hotels or even restaurants. Just before we came up here, we were downstairs at Monkey Pod, and it's busy. I mean, reservations highly recommended. It is a busy place.
Pre-pandemic, it was also that kind of busy though, right?
Yeah, it was. And then we went through the pandemic, and it's good that we have these partnerships with the Honolulu Marathon to help bring back that demand. And when I was walking through Monkey Pod, I couldn't help but think that a portion of that demand is from the Honolulu Marathon.
Now, as we get to the marathon for this year, how do you prepare for the visitors that are coming and for that event?
Yeah, from a business standpoint, we are really excited to welcome almost 30,000 runners here back to Waikiki, and 30% of those runners are actually from Japan. So we're really excited to welcome back our international travelers, as well as the families, and we're very excited to have some of them stay with us at our Outrigger properties here in Waikiki, and we're excited to be part of it. I mean, Outrigger has a strong tie to the community, and we're very excited to get to partner with them and welcome back these visitors to our properties.
Now, I gotta say, you've gone through renovations and different things to prepare for the future. Is all the work done here specifically at the Outrigger Reef Waikiki Beach Resort?
It's never done. It's never done.
Okay.
Very lucky. We have a very amazing leadership team from our corporate office, and we have really great leadership teams on property. And, as we were walking through, as you could kind of tell, we're constantly making enhancements to the properties, whether that be little things like refurnishing the furniture or little things like that. But the job is never done. The job's never done.
All right. Even the little things, taking care of the minute details. Once again, Outrigger Resorts and Hotels, they are a longtime sponsor of the Honolulu Marathon. And let's go ahead and get you back to race day here on Hawaii News Now.
Thanks so much, Billy V. Well, speaking of the race conditions, let's take a look at the roads right now, right in the Waikiki area, pretty close where the finish line is, Kalakaua Avenue at Kapahulu. So pretty much the road closures in the town spots along Ala Moana Boulevard, near Ala Moana Beach Park. All lanes are back open there, but further out toward the east, Kalanianaole, portions of Kahala Avenue, that remains shut down. Reminder, the road closures will last until at least 5 o'clock this evening, with crews slowly opening up lanes as soon as the last racers finish that section of the course. So expect some delays out there if you're heading through town, but we're also seeing a lot of cones out in East Oahu. That's where we find our Kyle Chinen. Kyle, how's it looking out there?
How's it going, Lacey? That's right, I'm here in Hawaii Kai, right at the turnaround point, and like I've been saying all morning, the vibes have been absolutely immaculate out here. The music's playing, the volunteers are out here helping everybody going. We've had a steady stream of just a sea of people here making their way to this point where it's pretty much it feels like you're almost there, but you do have a little bit to go. Let's just be real here. But, you know, they go through Hawaii Kai, back down onto Kalanianaole, and through to the Diamond Head area, and then to the finish line where they can enjoy some tasty malasadas, which is what I'm kind of jealous of Casey being over at the festival, and I'm here at the halfway point, because he gets to enjoy just the smell of the malasadas. But as you can see, the volunteers, I want to give them a big shout out. They've been here earlier than we were, and our call time was at 3 a.m., and they've been out here getting things ready, helping get water, refreshments, medical, things like that. So they are the rock stars here in Hawaii Kai. And speaking of rock stars, we were talking about the elite runners. One of HNN's most elite runners, Eddie Dowd, I have his location on my phone. He made the turn onto Hawaii Kai Drive, and he's around this area too. So he's making his way through the course, and I know that's the update I think everybody was hoping for. And we're going to come back on camera here. That's pretty much the latest here in Hawaii Kai. I'm Kyle HNN. We'll be right back on the 51st Honolulu Marathon.
Aloha.
Well, you already know Tony Revis. Here is Toya Revis, Tony's wife, better half, and also somebody who was out there as an analyst as well, observing things out there on the course. Yes. Your thoughts?
All right. Well, I thought it was a kind of an even race right at the beginning, because all three women who were the favorites, they were right in line almost the whole first half of the race. It was kind of windy, so they were shielded by a lot of guys, so everything was kind of uneventful. All of a sudden at 35K, that's when Cynthia Limo took off, and she sort of had a strategic move, meaning I think she just stayed tucked in because of the weather. It was a little hilly, windy, and then she said, no, I'm going to go. Then she dropped the two Ethiopian ladies, and then she just was so smooth throughout the whole race. And we thought she was going to have a little bit of a problem going up the hill, but she didn't. She still looked so good throughout the race, but you couldn't tell at first. So sort of kind of a really good race for all the women, but really for Cynthia.
Well, how was Billy V as a mentor?
Oh, he was great. I love his personality. I follow all of you guys throughout the year in San Diego on Instagram. So I thought Casey was going to be, you know, with me today, and instead it was Billy V, who's wonderful. So now I can't decide.
Well, just so you know, the two of them are fighting over who gets to hang out with you next year.
Great. I love everybody.
Just make room for you over here on set, and then
that would be great.
You know, they got to do things on their own.
Yeah, I'll move from San Diego to Hawaii just to be here with these guys.
You know, it's been fun though, Toya. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, dear.
Yeah.
All right.
Well said. Well said. Right now, though, let's go to the aforementioned Casey Len, who is checking out some malasadas.
Casey.
Oh, Steve, I'm sure, we're not too far away from you over at the finish line. I don't know if you can smell the Malasadas, but I certainly do. We're here in the Malasada tent. This is where they're made, and they make a lot of them for 30,000 marathon finishers. I want to bring you over here, though. This is where all the action's happening now. The Malasadas are already made. Hey, guys, say hello and good morning. Hello. You guys are on Hawaii News Now with us. What do we have here? Daniel, that is with me. You are working at the Malasada tent this year. What do we have on the menu, my friend?
Bananas and malasadas.
Malasadas. How many folks would you think you've served so far? It's still pretty early, right?
Myself?
Yeah.
Around 50.
I want to ask you, too, what it's like to be here, giving somebody something so sweet after they worked so hard. You've probably seen people limping. What's it been like over here for you to get to see some of these athletes come over, get a little reward after a really hard day?
I mean, it feels good to see them, I guess, relax and, I guess, rested.
Yeah, it is, and they certainly have earned their Malasada. So let's see, Daniel, can we open one up?
Yep.
And okay, I know I didn't finish the race, but I think I'm gonna have to try and just test to make sure that these are quality. You gotta do a quality check here, guys, all right? Hell, yeah. Now that is a good Malasada. I'll skip the banana. Our Lacey Denise has a little bit more information about this time-honored tradition here at the Honolulu Marathon. Check it out.
Okay, I got the sweet job. We're talking about Malasadas, the Malasadas. I'm here with President and CEO of the Honolulu Marathon, Dr. Jim Barahal. Doctor, thank you so much for joining us.
Oh, my pleasure. Thank you.
When did this project begin?
I think we've been doing this about 10 to 12 years. And we didn't realize when we embarked on it a couple things. One, how difficult it was going to be. But also, two, what a great comfort food it is right after a marathon. It's actually ideal. It's kind of our Malasada recipe, and all Malasadas are a little bit different. So our Honolulu Marathon Malasada is very chewy and dense and sugary. And it's
carbs and sugar.
Yeah, carbs and sugar after a marathon. So it's a great kind of reloading. It's a guilty pleasure, and it's a reward. It's really, as it turned out, quite ideal. I'm not sure any health experts are going to recommend that, but we have found that for when you finish a marathon and that accomplishment, it's just perfect. But they have to be fresh. And so as you're approaching the finish line, you can smell it. Yeah. And
that would make me run faster.
Yeah, absolutely. So we don't even need a sign. We just said, just follow that.
Yeah. Break down what it takes to put this Malasada production in place.
Well, it takes a number of things. One, it takes an expert in it, and we were very fortunate. Ernest, who's in charge of our Malasadas, formerly worked for Centerplate, which did the food for Aloha Stadium and a number of other things. Unfortunately, during COVID, they went out of business, and he's been kind enough to continue, because Centerplate worked with us on it, so he continues with us. We had to buy a lot of equipment. Yeah, because of Centerplate going out of business, we had to purchase lots of fryers and all kinds of kitchen equipment. It's a very sensitive process to cook them, especially outside. It has a special hermetically sealed tent.
Wow.
Yeah, the humidity, everything has to be just right or the dough won't rise. So it's a very nerve-wracking process, and lots of volunteers and lots of expertise, and we have our own recipe. Can't tell you that.
Yeah, I was going to say, what's the secret?
I can tell you, but then you know what would happen.
Yeah. We don't want to go there.
We don't want to go there. So it's amazing, and we have to kind of tell some of our people on the team, you can't have 20 of these.
Don't touch.
Don't touch. Yeah, because it gets a little carried away. The Malasadas is one very important thing. I think the fireworks at the start is the other thing that when we look at and say what makes us unique, besides the fact that we're in Hawaii, which is by far the most significant thing, it's the fireworks at the start and the Malasada at the finish, and we're not going to change those things. Those are things that we're clutching on to.
Casey, save some for the finishers, Casey. You got a little sugar
I tell
in
you what, I'll try. Yeah. Lace, did you have any idea how much work went into this perfect little doughy goodness here at the Honolulu Marathon? That's pretty fascinating.
That's a lot. They're making thousands of Malasadas fresh for all the finishers.
Yeah.
So if you don't mind, Casey, Annalise and I will take a dozen each. bring them back to the studio?
I bet I could sneak a few away here.
Thanks.
All right, guys. Daniel, can I bring one back to the station for my friend Lacey? Oh, he says only one per person, Lace.
What?
Only one per person. Yeah. We got to save one for Daniel.
Yeah, we got to.
I'll see what I can do, though.
Yeah,
I know some
thanks.
people.
Tell them that we know Casey Lund. Well, enjoy it for us. Enjoy your time out there, Casey Lund. Well, let's take a look out in the East Oahu area along Kalani and Ole. You can see a lot of runners still out there. Mind you, there are closures in the town areas. Ala Moana Beach Parkside, that has reopened. Crews will continue to reopen lanes as racers finish that section of the course. So now we can still have those closures out toward the east side, and that continues down into toward the East Oahu side, Diamond Head Road, and then over along Kalakaua Avenue at Kapahulu. So try and avoid the area if you can, at least until 5 o'clock this evening. More Sunrise right after this.
Aloha, we are approaching the 4-hour mark of the 51st Honolulu Marathon. Nearly 30,000 runners are taking part. Many trained for several months for this day, and they are making their way to the finish line at Kapiolani Park, where we find Steve Uyahara and Tony Revis. Guys, you know, we saw those elite athletes finish in about 2 hours, and I was reading about that mother-daughter duo that crossed the finish line at 17 hours last year. So lots of great stories out there.
That's amazing. Yeah, you mentioned people that are still finishing. Emily Reynolds finished a while ago. She finished in a time of 3:11:34. Yeah, you feel good about that?
Yeah, feeling good.
So this is your first open marathon?
Yep.
How'd you do so well in your first time?
I have a great coach. I have great friends who I've found a pack to run with, and I just try to stick with my heart rate strategy plan and take it out a little easier.
Yeah, I'm not too sure if I mentioned, but Emily here is the first Hawaii resident to finish with such a great time. You live out in Kaneohe?
Yep.
So what is your route? What is your normal practice?
I usually I live on Kaneohe Bay Drive, so I run Kaneohe Bay Drive into Kailua, do loops maybe around Aikahi or in Kailua, Lanikai, all around.
Emily, talk about the running community in Honolulu, Hawaii in general.
It's so great. That's the reason why I come to these events. It's such a wonderful community. I'm in the triathlon community as well, and it's such a great group of people, and that's the main reason why I
A lot of support.
A lot of support, great friends, people of all ages.
Yeah. Yeah. A little bit of bragging rights now?
No, that's okay. Yeah,
Well, either way,
keep
hey,
going.
congratulations, though.
Thank
You did
you.
really well. I can't
Thank
believe it's
you.
your first time.
Happy
Yeah,
holidays
thank
back
you.
in Baltimore, you're saying?
Yes, yeah, Maryland. Yep, yep. Yep,
Good for
exactly.
you. Have
Thank
a good,
you.
long flight home.
Thank you. I will.
It is a long one. All
I'll
right,
get
thank
to
you.
relax. Thank you so much.
All right, so as we think about what went on, Paul Lonyangata finished things up. He won.
Cynthia Limo. In her
Cynthia
debut,
Limo.
we're just telling, that we had 2 first-timers and the 2 category winners for women today.
Yeah,
Great.
yeah, it was an excellent time. I believe we're going back to studio. I'm not sure exactly what the plan was. Casey is out live. Let's check in with him. Casey, what's going on?
Steve, you're trying to toss it back to studio without coming to me. We are still here at the Finisher Village, and we've got a lot to talk about before we send things back to Annalise to wrap up our show. Of course, we want to thank the Honolulu Marathon for being such an amazing event, all the work that goes into it. We're here by the Finishers T-shirt tent. I want to introduce a couple of finishers that I have with me this morning, namely Jeannie. Now, this is not your first marathon, is it?
No, it's not.
What makes the Honolulu Marathon special?
I love Honolulu Marathon because look at all the people here that you meet around the world. They always put on a great marathon every year, and I'm proud to be a participant. So, all these years.
Behind us here, we've got what?
Malasada.
Is that more important than the medal, or are they almost equal?
Of course, I keep on going back, though.
Yeah.
No, only one.
But really quickly, though, I wanted to also ask you, how many other races have you completed? Brag a little bit, if you will.
Okay, in Honolulu Marathon, I was 4th overall one year, 6th overall, top Waihini many times. I love this marathon, brought me to the islands, and won 8 Kona marathons, 6 Maui's, and traveled the world with these legs for free.
Oh, my goodness. Well, congratulations on another one. Do you keep up with her?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
I like your Squid Games outfit, though.
Thank you.
Yeah, very, very festive. Look at that. Yeah, and I do. Oh, that's right. That's right. You survived. There's no shortage of great outfits out there on the course. Right? What was your favorite one, really quickly, before we go?
Favorite one? Honolulu Marathon.
No, the outfit. The costume.
She's always in pink. That's her color. Now, her signatures when she goes over the finish line, she somersaults. Somersaults over the finish line. That's her signature.
Yeah, I'll need to go back and review that video. Jeannie, thank you so very much for being with us and speaking with us this morning. What a beautiful day. Congratulations. You've enjoyed some rest. Yes, I hope you get a good meal. Thank you. Mahalo, mahalo. So, again, just the energy that is around the start line, the finish line, and, of course, here in the Finishers Village. I know that it takes a lot of work to get this off the ground. It takes a lot of work for us at Hawaii News Now to get this broadcast up and to our viewers. But we really are grateful to be able to share this with everyone at home. This is obviously always a historic event. And the 2023 Honolulu Marathon was one for the books. We want to thank again all of our partners, all the sponsors for the Honolulu Marathon again. And we want to thank, most importantly, all the athletes that are here with us today. Congratulations. You are what makes this event so amazing. You are what makes Hawaii so special. And to all of our visitors, of course, that come from Japan, from Kenya, all over the world, we'd like to thank you as well. For now, I want to send things back into the studio with our Annalisa Burgos. Annalisa, I will try and get you a Malasada as well. It is a gorgeous morning out here, and we're grateful to be here.
Grateful to you, Casey, for all that great live coverage. Grateful to all of our teams out there, and of course, all the volunteers who made this marathon possible. And that's it for us here, our special live coverage of the 51st Honolulu Marathon. We hope you enjoyed watching all that action, hearing the stories, and maybe gaining some inspiration to sign up for next year's race. We'll have all of this on our website, of course, hawaiinewsnow.com. You can take a live look now over through Hawaii Kai. As we've said, this race is going to go on for several hours. Last year, the final finishers, 17 hours. Go cheer them on, guys. Have a great day. Aloha.
With the Hawaii News Now mobile app, breaking news is in the palm of your hand. Sponsored by Central Oahu Event Center in Wahiawa. Book your special event today.